So now I'm going to go ahead and we are going to look at number 7, and I'm going to change it up on you a little bit. My divisor now has a 2x plus 3. So we need to set 2x plus 3 equal to 0 and solve for x. So I get 2x equals negative 3. And then I have to divide by 2. So I'm going to get x equal to negative 3 over 2. So that's what's going to go in my box, negative 3 over 2. Looking at your coefficients, make sure you are in decreasing order first. So I have a squared, a 1, a none. I am good. So my coefficients, I start with a 2, a negative 17, and a negative 38. So we're going to carry that down. Now, when you multiply, you want to multiply the tops. So I'm going to do negative 3 times 2, and then I'm going to divide by the 2. So negative 3 times 2 is 6, divided by divided by 2 is a negative 3. Now we're going to add straight down. So I'm going to get negative 20. So we're going to do negative 20 times negative 3. So negative 20 times negative 3 is a positive 60 divided by 2 is going to give me 30, and then we're going to add straight down. So I'm going to get a negative 8. So now here's the trick to this. Because we have this 2 here, this dividing by 2, our answer, we have to divide by 2, but we only do that to the numbers that are not remainders. So remember, this is my remainder, so I am not going to divide that by 2. I'm only going to divide the other ones by 2. So I'm going to have a 1, negative 20 divided by 2 gives me a negative 10, and then this is going to stay negative 8 because that's our remainder. So this is my remainder, this is my constant, this is my x's. So I'll have 1x minus 10 minus, now remainders, remember we do the number over our divisor, 2x plus 3, and that came from all the way up here at the top. So that would be my final answer, and I'd be done. Example number 8 then, again, we want to take the denominator, the divisor, and set it equal to 0 and solve it. So I'm going to get 3x equals 1, which means that x is going to equal 1/3. So that's the number that's going to go inside my box. Looking at my coefficients, first look at the exponents and make sure I have 3, 2, 1, none, so I have every number there that I need. So now we can write the coefficients out. I'm going to get a 9, a 9, an 11, and a negative 4. So we're going to go ahead and carry the first one down. Now remember, we're going to do 9 times 1 divided by 3. So, I made a mistake up here, guys. Does everyone see that this should be a plus 1, which means this is going to be a negative 1 and a negative 1/3 and a negative 1/3. So make sure that you change that on your notes. Now we can do a negative 1 times 9 divided by 3. So negative 1 times 9 is negative 9. Divided by 3 is negative 3. Add those down. I'm going to get 6. So I'm going to do a negative 1 times 6 is negative 6. Divided by 3 is a negative 2. Add those down. I'm going to get 9. Do negative 1 times 9, which is negative 9. Divided by 3, negative 3. Add those straight down. We get a negative 7. Now, because this is a fraction, again, we need to divide by that number on the denominator to everything except our remainder. So our remainder is going to stay a negative 7. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 6 divided by 3 is 2. 9 divided by 3 is 3. So now I have my remainder, my constant, my x's, and this problem actually has an x squared. So if I write that out as my final answer, I'm going to get 3x squared plus 2x plus 3 minus 7, and since that's my remainder, I have to put it over my divisor, 3x plus 1. So let's go ahead and look at number 9 here. If I were to set that equal to 0 and solve it, I would get a negative 2, so that's what's going to go inside my box. So now I'm going to look at my exponents and make sure I'm in decreasing order. I have a 4, a 3, I have 0 2's, I don't have any x squareds. So if I were to have everything, I'd have 6x to the 4th plus 5x to the 3rd plus 0x squareds minus 28x's minus 6. So these are the coefficients I want to write in front, or the outside of the box. So I have 6, 15, 0, negative 28, and negative 6. So we're going to carry this 6 down, multiply outsides to get the inside. So I'm going to get negative 12, add straight down then, I get 3. Negative 6, add straight down, negative 6. Multiply the outsides, add straight down. Multiply the outsides, add straight down. So now there is no fraction bar here, so I don't have to divide anything. I just have to remember this is my remainder, my constant, my x. Keep going up, I have an x squared, and I have an x to the third this time. So I'm going to get 6x to the third plus 3x squared minus 6x plus 16. And now remember with your remainder to write it over x plus 2. Last example here for just regular examples before we get into some word problems, number 10. So if I were to take this divisor and set it equal to 0, I would get x equals 3. So 3 is what's going to go in my box. Now, if I look at my exponents, I have a 5, but I'm missing that 4 again. So if I were to write my coefficients, I'd have the 2 for the x to the 5th. The x to the 4th, I'd have 0 of them. X thirds, I have negative 1. X squareds, I have 3. X's, I have negative 2. Constants, I have 7. So now we can start our process. Carry the 2 down, multiply the outsides to get the inside. So 3 times 2 is 6. Add straight down, I get 6. 3 times 6 is 18. Add straight down, I get 17. 3 times 17 is 51. Add straight down, I get 54. 3 times 54 is 162. Add straight down, I get 160. 3 times 160 gives me 480. Add straight down, I get 487. So now there is no dividing, so we don't have to divide by anything. We're going to say this is our remainder, our constant, our x, x squared, x to the thirds, and I have an x to the 4th this time. So I'm going to get 2x to the 4th plus 6x to the 3rd plus 17x squared plus 54x plus 160, and then my remainder of plus 487, and since it's a remainder, it has to be divided by our divisor, which is x minus 3. So let's look at this first word problem here. The area of a rectangle is x to the 3rd plus 3x squared plus 4x plus 1 square inches. The width of the rectangle is x plus 1. We want to find out the length. So I know area of a rectangle is area equals length times width. I am actually trying to find the length, so we need to solve this thing for length. So to get length alone, we're going to divide by width, divide by width. So area divided by width is going to help me find my length. So I'm going to have to do x to the 3rd plus 3x squared plus 4x plus 1 divided by my width, x plus 1. So this is a problem we've seen before. We can go ahead and use synthetic division here. So if I set this equal to 0 and solve, I'm going to have a negative 1 in the box. I have a 3, 2, 1, none for my exponents, so I have everything I need for coefficients. So I have a 1 for the x to the 3rd, a 3 for the x squared, a 4 for the x, and a 1 for the constant. Carry it down, multiply the outsides to get the insides, and then add the insides. Multiply the outsides to get the insides, add the insides. Multiply the outside to get the inside, add the insides. So now this is my remainder, my constant, my x's, and my x squareds. So I know that the length of my rectangle is 1x squared plus 2x plus 2 minus 1 over x plus 1 inches. So if we looked at the last problem here, the area of a triangle now is 16x to the 4th minus 60x to the 3rd minus 28x squared plus 56x minus 32 square meters. The height of the sail is x minus 4 meters. We want to find the length. So let's again start with, I know area of a triangle is going to be area equals base times height divided by 2. It's asking for the length. So we have to actually set that equal and find the base. Okay, remember base and length are the same idea. So this could be our length times height. So to get rid of that 2, we have to times by 2 first. So I'm going to get 2a is going to equal length times height. What you do to that one side, you have to do the other, remember? So now to get the height, the length alone, we have to divide by the height. So our length is going to equal 2 times the area divided by the height. So I know my area is this. I actually have to do 2 times that. I got to do 2 times that. So I'm going to end up with 32x to the 4th minus 120x to the 3rd minus 56x squared plus 112x minus 64. And then we're going to divide that by the height, which I know is x minus 4. So now we just have a synthetic division problem. If I have x minus 4, I know a 4 is going to go inside the box. All of my coefficients are present. I have 4, 3, 2, 1, none. So I can write them out as 32, negative 120, negative 56, 112, and negative 64. Carry the first one down. 4 times 32 is 128. And then add, I get 8. 4 times 8 is 32. Add, I get negative 24. 4 times negative 24 is negative 96. Add, I get 16. 4 times 16 is 64. Add, you're going to get 0. So remember, this is my constant, or sorry, my remainder, my constant, my x squared, and my x to the 3rd. So I'm going to get 32x to the 3rd plus 8x squared minus 24x plus 16. I have no remainder, so I just need to label this as meters. So in this problem, you do not have to do synthetic division and long division for any of these problems. You just have to make sure you understand how to do at least one of them. So if you have any questions, come chat with me, and then go ahead and try the practice today. Good luck.